Welcome to Deleted Saves. On this episode, Nightmare Creatures on the PlayStation 1. It is not unusual for video games to take inspiration from real-life characters or places. In the case of today's topic, 1997's Nightmare Creatures, the developers utilized some of history's darker moments to root the game's horror in. The in-game lore states that in London in the year 1666, an order known as the Brotherhood of Hecate is experimenting to create monsters and an immortality potion, and accidentally starts the first Great Fire of London, a very real event that occurred over 4 days in September of that year. In 1834, the year the game occurs in, the Brotherhood tries again, this time with the assistance of noted occultist Adam Crowley. This antagonist draws heavily upon the real life and exploits of late 19th century / early 20th century occultist, ceremonial magician, hedonist, and prolific writer Aleister Crowley, and his time in the Order of the Golden Dawn, where he was taught magic. Crowley was an infamous figure in London due to his anti-Christian beliefs, foundation of secretive orders, drug use, bisexuality, campaigning for the German cause in World War I, and other counterculture beliefs. Whatever your personal beliefs regarding this man, his legend has proved fertile ground for those looking to create paranormal mystery. With such a foundation in hand, developer Callisto Entertainment created a London of decay, and beset by the horrors its Adam Crowley created, with the assistance of the Brotherhood of Hecate, in order to control not only London, but eventually the world. So how do the playable characters become involved? The game states that a book of occult practices is smuggled out of the Brotherhood by a defecting member and dropped off at the home of warrior monk and occult expert Ignatius, who then contacts an occult expert friend in America, who arrives with his daughter Nadia, a swordswoman and martial arts expert, in tow. When the friend is murdered, Ignatius and Nadia set out on the trail of revenge to stop Crowley and the Brotherhood and destroy the flood of monsters they have unleashed, and possibly stop the enemy from creating yet another Great Fire of London. From here the player must select either Ignatius or Nadia, and must set out alone through a decaying 3D polygonal London to smash, dismember, and behead an assortment of wolfmen, trolls, slug beasts, and other tentacled horrors popping up from the sewers, exploding out of monster closets, and infesting the Thames River, with each chapter ending with a taunt from Crowley himself. Exploration is key to breaking windows, walls, and barrels will allow you to find caches of survival gear, including health recovery items, one-shot, one-kill firearms, and other occult magic items that can be used against the enemy. The major issue I have with the game is that each level is on a timer in the form of an adrenaline meter, a blue meter that shadows the character's health bar. If you go too long without killing the monsters, the adrenaline meter drops, and on later levels the meter drops faster and faster. Should it empty, you die and the game ends, a victim of the monstrous infection spreading through London. This can be problematic as you can easily get turned around in the environments and end up going the wrong way with nothing to fight and dying by inches. Nightmare Creatures is classified as a survival horror title, but I would argue against that. Unlike other survival horror titles, there are no safe rooms or creeping around haunted corridors or solving esoteric puzzles while traversing the same area over and over. Nightmare Creatures is an action horror title, focused far more on forward progress and aggression. If anything, this game has far more in common with Bloodborne than with Resident Evil. I would even go so far as to say Nightmare Creatures was the original Bloodborne, long before such a concept was even a thought in the gaming consciousness. Nightmare Creatures was built to be a dark, unholy experience with callbacks to the stranger side of reality, and holy shit, does it deliver on that promise. Despite some jank and obvious video gaminess that may take one out of the immersion bit, the game is one hell of a ride. No pun intended. This is another game I feel is deserving of a full remake on modern hardware so that the new generation of players can experience it. But of course, I know that will not happen. There simply isn't enough interest in the property or enough money to be made off of it in the current AAA game business to allow for such a project. Yet we are not quite done with Nightmare Creatures. The game ends ambiguously, and as with so many horror properties, it will be resurrected once again to put its slimy claws on old London town. But that is a story for another time. Thank you for listening.